So it's a sunny Sunday and I've just been down by the canal. Oh, it's atrocious. There's so many people down there. So once again it seems that the weekends put the canal off limits. Not that it really eased up this week, unfortunately. I think the longer this lockdown goes on, the less people are paying attention to it. That's unfortunate. So in today's vlog I thought we'd just talk about where we've been over the last couple of weeks, top and tail a few things, and then also have a look at maybe where we can take this daily vlog over the next week or so. And also, let's have a little bit of a chat about that Surrey video. So morning guys, I've just cycled out of Walthamstow. I'm now in the industrial part of Edmonton. These industrial parks are quite good at the weekend. Even when it's not under lockdown, there's hardly anybody here, so it's quite good. Even if the scenery isn't. We'll just see where we end up, shall we? So that Surrey video then, I posted that yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm just about to spend the next couple of minutes talking about a few bits from that video. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and give it a look, and then at least you'll know what I'm talking about here. Oh, there's a bus. I thought he was about to pull out right in front of me. So just to start off with on the Surrey video, a quick one to clear up. There appear to be in the comments one or two people who think that I was breaking the lockdown rules in the UK on that one. No. I did post at the beginning of the video that the ride was actually back in early March, and that was before the UK was on lockdown by a good couple of 3 weeks, I believe. And so yeah, no, I wouldn't be silly enough to go out and breach those rules, and I don't think I would be able to find a hotel room at the moment either under lockdown. You have to have a very special reason for booking a hotel at the moment, and Tim's Trike Trips is not one of those special reasons. So also on the question of the Surrey video, I didn't want it to come across as unduly negative. It was a very, very hard day, and I was absolutely exhausted at the end of it. And I think that came across in my little talky bit at the end in the hotel room as well. But I also don't want my channel to be like so many YouTube channels, where it's, hey guys, welcome to my world, everything's wonderful. You know the sort of person I'm talking about. And that's not aimed at anybody in particular. You just know there's 1,001 YouTubers out there who make out that the world is all rosy and wonderful, and no, it isn't. Sometimes we all have bad days, and I hope that came across in the Surrey video without me being too depressing. So as always though, with those rose-tinted glasses of hindsight on, I'm already beginning to forget all the bad bits about my Surrey ride, and I actually looked on it quite fondly as I was editing that one. I was just like, God, yeah, I remember that. That was good. Anyhow, so that was Surrey. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you all understand why I posted it the way I did. So also on the Surrey ride, I mentioned the apps that I was using for my GPS and GPX files, and then of course didn't get around to talking about them. Well, the app that I'm using on those longer rides partially and I'll explain why partially in a moment, is Komoot. The link to this and the other apps I'll talk about are in the description of the video below. Thank you. And yeah, so Komoot is both phone app and a computer-based web page kind of app, I suppose, cross between the two. And basically you can put your routes in there, your GPX files or GPS files, put them in there and it will map them out for you. You can then save them to your phone and use them on the phone side of the app as you're riding along. Now, there's a problem with Komoot. Well, certainly there is on the Route 21. I got a GPX file for the Route 21 and it told me that there was just 3.5 miles of bridleways on that route for Surrey. And obviously there was a lot more than that. So I can't actually say whether it was the GPX file that was wrong or Komoot that mapped it out wrong. But it basically told me that there was just 3.5 miles of bridleways on the Route 21 that day down to Gatwick. And obviously there was a lot more than that. And under normal circumstances it wouldn't matter that there was a lot more than that, apart from we'd had such bad weather and they were all washed out. So that really did change the makeup of the whole ride. But it just goes to show you really do need to do your homework on these things. I mean, I do quite a lot of planning on my rides before I actually set off, because of the width of the trike and making sure that the pathways are going to be good enough and there's no barriers to me getting through. I don't like having to double back on myself. Thank you. But under normal circumstances, Komoot is a very useful app, both on the computer and the phone. The phone app is limited, but the web pages on the computer for Komoot, very useful indeed. So the other apps I've mentioned also already recently are Ride with GPS. That's good for recording my route. I've had no problems with that at all so far. It's a really accurate route recorder. And then obviously I use what I record on Relive. That's the other app that I've been using for that little map that you see at the end of my longer videos. And it produces that using the information from the app Ride with GPS, so they all kind of link together. But those are the three apps that I commonly use on my longer rides. As I say, all the links to those apps are in the description below. So I'm sorry if the scenery's not up to much, guys. I tried going near the canal again a moment ago. Absolutely impossible. I've never seen so many people on a canal, even in the height of summer. On a normal summer Sunday, you would never see that many people on the canal. Yet because we're on lockdown, that's the place to be. Weird. Hey ho. 'Tis what it is. We'll make the best of it. So, another thing that I wanted to raise with you this week, I touched on it right back at the beginning of these antiviral vlogs, and that was that I had to cancel a spring tour that I was going to do this year. And on Wednesday of this week, flashed up on my phone from the calendar a reminder that my tour was supposed to start. Thursday morning I was going to be on my way. So that's been a little bit depressing for me. The calendar was set up on a daily reminder, and until yesterday it kept coming up both on my computer at home and my phone, reminding me that I'm supposed to be on tour. And well, I've cancelled all of that off my calendar now. Stop depressing myself. But as I say, hopefully that tour or something similar will happen later in the year. who knows, maybe something better will happen in the year. But in the meantime, we're still stuck on lockdown. The UK government has just decided that we're going to have another 3 weeks of this at least. However, they have released some further details on what they mean by a lockdown, and there's some good news on that front. So the clarifications around the lockdown are that you are allowed to use your car to drive to a place of exercise, so long as that exercise is over a further or longer distance than what it was for you to drive to get there. So that's quite good for me. I can drive some short distances, so we can go and have a look at some other scenery perhaps. And one of the other clarifications that we got from the government were that you can stop and rest on your exercise again, so long as that rest period isn't longer than the exercise itself. So again, if I want to stop and make myself a coffee, I think that's within the bounds. And of course you've still got to stick within the rules of being socially distanced from anybody else. That was rather nifty. I didn't know there was a public pair of binoculars from here. They look over the reservoir. I guess it's for bird spotting. Perhaps if I had some antiviral wipes on me, I might wipe those down and have a look through them, but I'm not going to at the moment. I'll come back another time. So anyhow, taking the trike out in the car for some changes of scenery all depend on me having some topics to talk about, everyone. And I'm running dangerously low on things to talk about. And it would be a real shame to have to stop doing these daily videos just for the lack of topics, to be honest. So if everybody could rack their brains and come up with something that they'd like me to talk about, anything that they'd like me to talk about, that would be really, really helpful. Because I really do want to keep these going as long as I can. I'm enjoying doing them, and I think there's enough people out there who are enjoying watching them too. So anyhow, that's my begging bowl out for now. Give me some ideas, please, everyone. And as I say, I'll keep this going as long as I can. I've got a few. We can keep going for another few days yet. But they're very quickly going to run out. Oh, and I forgot to show you, didn't I? Hang on. New glasses. Not too bad, are they? 99p again. Only this time they didn't cost me 99p. They cost the wife 99p. She's good enough to go out and buy me them. And there was a concern again raised in the comments, quite rightly as well. I'm quite happy that people are concerned about my health and welfare. But the question was raised about whether they have the UV protection being so cheap. And as I replied in the comments to the person who asked about that, and apologies, I can't remember who it was, but the only reply I can give to it is that all our sunglasses that are sold in the UK are covered by a standards authority, and they have to reach a certain standard to be on sale. These ones had the little sticker on the lens of the glass, and also had attached a label that said they met those standards. And what do I know? We have to trust somebody at the end of the day, otherwise you'll never end up buying anything. But again, for 99p, these ones are incredibly comfortable. They're really, really light. They're not as dark as the old ones I had, and they sit a bit proud off of my face, so they're letting a bit of light in at the side. But otherwise, they're alright. They certainly do the job. And they're going to keep flies out of my eyes, that's the main thing. Oh, That's the other one I wanted to talk about. Squeaky pedals. That ride that I did around the Olympic Park the other day with the squeaky pedals. My apologies for that. I knew I had a squeaky pedal, but I didn't know that the mic picked it up that much. I did my best to remove it in editing, but that was dreadful. So yesterday I set about trying to fix it, and of course I should have said squeaky pedals in quotes, because I oiled the pedals, it still squeaked. I changed the crank arms, still squeaked. I removed the e-assist motor, tightened up every nut and bolt that I could find on it, and put it all back and tightened it all up again. And I think the squeaking stopped, for now at least. I don't know what it was, it weren't the pedal though. But like I say, it's fixed for now anyhow. It's nice to be on a quiet trike again for a change. Hopefully that will last. I hate squeaky noises. I hate any noises. But that one was awful. And I know people said that they couldn't hear it or it didn't distract them in the video, but it certainly distracted me whilst I was editing. You can imagine sitting down for maybe 3-4 hours editing that video, and every single clip you hear the same noise. Oh, drives you around the bend. More so than when I'm out on the trike. And I think lastly for today, the last point that I want to talk about that was raised in the comments after yesterday's Surrey video was the Tim's Trike Trip mug. The much coveted Tim's Trike Trip mug. People want to know if they can get one, how they can buy one. I'm not selling merchandise on my channel. I don't think the channel's anything like big enough to have merchandise on there. Who knows, maybe one day, but at the moment I'm not. Hi Queen, you alright?
Yes, thank you.
That's the wife of my best friend. Yes, so I don't think I've got enough views or subscribers to start selling merch. That said, I do have a few of those mugs in my shed at home, and if anybody really wants one, make contact with me via the contact form on my website, and we'll see if we can't get one to you. But obviously I can't get any sort of discounted shipping for such small quantities, so the shipping cost will have to be at your own cost, I'm afraid. But yes, if you'd like one, they're there. As I say, just make contact and we'll sort it out. So anyway, I'm not going to do too much more today. There's too many people out and about. I can't find anywhere nice to ride. So we'll call it a day at that, and I'll be back tomorrow with something a little bit more interesting and a bit longer, hopefully. So until tomorrow, stay safe, look after those loved ones, and remember to wash your hands. See you tomorrow, guys. Ta-da.